Hey guys, Emily Williams here. Welcome to today's training all about how to get your first or next coaching client. So I'm going to check in for 1 second and make sure that everyone can hear me. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm just going to give it 1 second. And I'm going to shout out to Sweaty Betty for making this amazing shirt that I just discovered this weekend, Green Juice and Cocktails. I don't normally wear t-shirts on Facebook Live, but I thought this one was too amazing to pass up. So hoping everyone can hear me. My team is going to let me know. Hey, Biggie. Nice to see you here. Awesome. So it looks like people can hear me. That's a good sign. Awesome. Everyone on Instagram can obviously hear me. Cool. Got my comments up. Okay, cool. If my team can just let me know that we are all good, that would be awesome. I believe that we are. And while you're hopping on, let me know where you're from, if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. I'd love to know. Okay, Biggie says that she can hear me, so awesome. We are good. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. So like I said, this is a training all about how to thank you, Biggie. Okay, Ashley said we're good. Cool. This is a training all about how to register your first or next coaching client. So I'm going to share 7 steps today. And before we go any further, I just want to remind you to make sure you're registered at realtruthwithlove.com. I want to see you there because it's going to give you, registering for that is going to give you all the reminders for my next few days of trainings. And it's going to remind you about the amazing masterclass that I have on Thursday happening at this time. So Thursday, which is the 14th of June, and the masterclass is all about how to replace your 9-to-5 income with your coaching business. So you're going to want to be there. So, hey Paige, hey Whitney from Denver, Biggie's from Germany, amazing. Thank you for the compliment about my shirt. I love it too. I couldn't resist it. I got another one that says, what does it say? Like, will sweat for rose or something. Maybe I'll wear that one tomorrow. So awesome. So I want to move forward because we have a lot to cover today and I want to take Q&A. So if you have questions about anything that I share today, please post it in the comments because I'll share any answers or any feedback I have live if I can, as we need to, cover all of this amazing content. This training will be about 20 to 30 minutes. If it's anything like yesterday, it probably will go a little bit longer. But if I don't get to your question, then we'll answer it later on after the training is over. So even if you're watching the replay, please comment in the comments because we will get to your question later on. So I'd love to see anything that comes up for you, any ahas, any big insights that really landed for you, and any questions. So let's go for it. And as you're jumping on, like I said, I'd love for you to share where you're from, if you're tuning in live or watching the replay, so we can get to know you a little bit better. So I have 7 ways or 7 steps in which I recommend you get your first coaching client, or maybe it's your next coaching client. Honestly, it works for either situation. And one of the examples I'm going to show you today is one of my clients who already has a 6-figure business, and she still does something that's very similar to what she did in the beginning to get new clients. So I'm going to share that later on. But the first step is really, really key. And it might sound really simple, but you have to know who it is you want to work with. You have to know who your ideal client is. I know you've probably heard that time and time again, but it's amazing to me how many people are targeting too many people. And let me break that down a little bit more. So the way you want to look at this, especially in the beginning, and honestly for the first few years at least, if not longer, you want to look at it like you have a smaller platform. Right? Think about you standing on a tree stump. You're probably there and maybe 1 or 2 other people. That's the largest amount that can fit on that tree stump. And then as you grow your business, your platform becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it becomes like a Tony Robbins stage where you can hold tons of different people. You can talk to people about wealth or health or relationships or business. Really when it comes to someone like Tony, the sky's the limit. He can talk about anything he wants. And he has expertise in so many different areas because of the amount of time he's been doing this work. But if you're just starting out, you probably have expertise in 1, maybe 2 areas. And most of the time, new coaches, they have an ideal client that's very similar to them. So maybe you are your ideal client or you have been. I know for me, I definitely was and still am my ideal client in many ways. And so that was actually a huge blessing because I could remember how I felt in certain situations and really pull from that in order to create copy and marketing and newsletters and all of that, even the programs I created. Basically, it was for different stages of me, different versions of me. And so if that's you, I recommend starting off with one person. And remember, this is just your chapter 1 or maybe your chapter 5, wherever you're at. This is not forever. As Elizabeth Gilbert says in Eat, Pray, Love, one of my favorite books, she talks about how having a baby is like getting a tattoo on your face. You should probably be pretty sure that you want it, right? And so this is the same thing that people feel when they're choosing their ideal client. They're like, oh my goodness, it's a forever thing. I'm never going to be able to change. But that's actually not true. So I really want you to understand that today. It's just this one chapter in a whole book that is your business. And so choose where you're at right now and choose that one person because you don't want to be marketing to 20 people. It would be really exhausting to have to send out tons of different emails or, upload tons of different Facebook ads to different target audiences. And so do yourself a favor and pick one person. And yesterday, if you missed the training, go ahead and watch the replay after this one. Because we talked about how there are 7 billion people in the world. And so there is not a shortage of your clients. I really want you to hear me when I say that there is not a shortage, no matter who your client is. There's more than enough people out there. I also shared in the last training that in order to create a 7-figure business at iHeart My Life, we worked with around 500 customers. So that's 500 out of over 3 billion people who are online right now in the world. And I know that, whether you're looking to create 6 figures or $50,000 or replace your 9-to-5 income, whatever it may be, there are 10, 20, 30, 50, 500 people out there who want to work with you. So you have to trust that. And the important thing is to start with, like I said, where you're at. So what is the journey that you've been on? How did you get to this place? What is your story? What were your turning points? I know for me, I looked back and saw that there were many moments where I was my ideal client. When I was in that quarter life crisis, I was my ideal client. I knew I was meant for something big, yet didn't know how to make it happen. When I first started my business, I was my ideal client. When I went through my 54 no's in a row and no one wanted to work with me, I was my ideal client. And so you are probably the same. And even if you weren't your ideal client, it doesn't matter. Just think about how you want to serve. So that leads me to the second point or second step. The next step that you need to really nail down is what is that message that you would talk about all day, every day if you could. And the thing that I ask my clients is if you were on stage tomorrow, if say Oprah invited you to be on Super Soul Sunday, what would you speak about? What would be your message? What is your message for everyone to hear? And really understand that that is that thing that lights you up. That's your ideal client, whatever that message is that you want to share. And that's what I would start with. So regardless of where you are, whether you're at the beginning or even further along, think about what that key message is. What do you want to be known for? And that will help you get so much clarity. Then that will lead you to step 3, which is you deciding what program you want to create. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. I'll be answering the questions at the end of this training. So if you have any, please comment in the thread below. So number 3 is all about your program. So people get really freaked out about this, right? So you're putting yourself out there, you've chosen your ideal client, and now you have to create a program and you don't know if anyone's going to buy it. You don't know if anyone's going to resonate with it. And the truth is, though, whatever is personal is universal. I had a coach tell me that years ago. And it's true. So whatever you've been through, again, if you are your ideal client, awesome. If not, that's okay too. But whatever you feel was the thing that really helped you transform your life, other people will feel the same way. So let me give you an example. One of my first programs was called 90 Days to 6K. And it literally was based on my first 90 days in business, how I was able to go from $442 in my business up to that 6K month. And then at that point, it was a really big turning point for me because I was able to leave my 9-to-5 job. So I created a program called 90 Days to 6K, which led new entrepreneurs through the exact steps that I took to hit my first 6K month. And so it's as simple as that. And I truly believe I have a training that I've done before called How to Create Your First Program in 11 Minutes. And I believe that you can create a program in 11 minutes. It's super, super simple. You just need to take what's worked for you and apply it to your ideal client. So step by step, what worked for you? You know, how did you overcome any pain points? How did you get to those pleasure points? That's why people will buy. They buy to decrease pleasure or decrease pain or increase pleasure. So that's what you need to think about as you're creating your program. So I hope that makes sense. Please pop your questions. So I see someone here from Boston. Awesome. Love connecting with you guys. Paige, I see your question. I'll come to it in just a second. Thank you for typing in. That's awesome. Cool. So that's step 3, nailing down your program. So think about what would lead your client from A to Z. What would really help them? Just come up with a list of 12 different topics, and those can be broken down into your module topics. So again, if you're creating a 90-day program, literally 12 different topics, you can come up with that just by thinking about what you've gone through and what you want to help your client with. It's as simple as that. And then you fill in all the other information as you go along. Don't overcomplicate this. You know, oftentimes we all want to reinvent the wheel, and we think that our story and our experience is super special. And I'm here to tell you, you are very special. But again, whatever is personal is universal. And so make it simple. You know, what does your client need to get from A to B or A to Z? And then put that down on paper. And that is your program. Cool. We're not going to talk about marketing this second in the sense of like, you know, sending out emails and all of that jazz. That will be in another training this week. But I want to really validate your program as it is. So just let your, you know, really pay attention to my words when I say that your program is enough. And so it might feel scary to put it out there. It might feel scary to put out that first sales email or that post or whatever it may be. But believe me, everyone needs your program. Your ideal client needs your program. The world needs what it is that you have. So just trust that. Cool. So next step here, I'm just looking at my notes, is to connect with your network. So before you get MailChimp set up or Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign, whatever it is that you're using to send out your emails, like I said, that's a different training. I want you to go to your network. And what I've pulled up from the archives here is this email that I sent to my friends and family. So I'm just going to pull it up here. I cleaned up my desktop for all of you guys, so you should be pretty happy. So this is like an exact email that I sent out. Look at the date here. So October 1st, 2014. I whited out all of the names here so you wouldn't see them. Do people still use whiteout? Like, is that super weird that I just said that? Anyway, so this is what I sent out to friends and family, and it was literally all about my one-on-one coaching and asking them if they knew anyone who wanted to work with me. And it said, so how's it going? Just thought I'd get in touch and ask whether you know anyone who might be interested in one-on-one coaching and looking to take on a few top-level clients over the next month, and wanted to reach out in case any of you have any friends who might be interested in getting some support. I'm offering a 90-day package, et cetera, et cetera. And then I described who my ideal client was. And I said, let me know if anyone comes to mind. Thanks a million. And this is something that you can do literally today. So let me turn the camera back on. So you have a network, and just think about it like this. Your network is your net worth forever. Even before you have those influencers in your corner, you already have an amazing network. There's probably already people who want to work with you just an arm's length away, an email away. And so write something up, send some Facebook messages. I sent that to all my girlfriends who I knew would have connections to my ideal client. And just so you know, I didn't start off working with the same ideal client who I work with now. Before, I was working with people who needed life coaching because I had gone through a quarter life crisis myself and didn't know what I was doing with my life and was super frustrated and confused. And I knew that there were other women out there who felt the same. And so I started off with life coaching, and then from there it morphed into working with entrepreneurs. And so again, I'm just telling you this because it's another example that you're not getting a tattoo on your face. You can change. Things will progress in your business, and they should, because you're growing every day yourself. But start with where you're at and reach out to your network. Please do not discount that, whether it's an email, Facebook message, send out voice audios, anything to get the word out that you are doing this work and that you have an amazing program to offer. Do it. All right, next step I want to share is Facebook Live. So clearly I'm here on Facebook Live. Yesterday's training was all about how there are no excuses, why now is the best time to move forward as a new coach. And I really want to reiterate that. So in order to get that client that you want, get on Facebook Live. It's free. It will reach many, many people, maybe even more people than sending out an email will, because you probably have 15 friends and family on your email list like I did. And that's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. So use Facebook Live. You can even spend a little bit of money and boost your videos so that more people see it. Even today, my mom texted me and she's like, oh my gosh, you have over 2,000 views on yesterday's video. And she loves that. And it's so fun to see that your message is being spread far and wide, right? And that's the power of video and connecting with people. You can get your message out there. Literally, it doesn't even need to be scripted. It doesn't need to be long. It can be 5 minutes. Share your message. And I beg of you, you are running a business, not a charity. So please tell people about your program. What is the point? I know you want to share your message. You are so excited about your message, but you also need to sell programs in order to continue to move forward with your business. So tell people about what it is you have to offer. Great. Okay, next step is to post in Facebook groups. So again, I'm going to share my screen here because I have something special to show you. So let's go to the next one. This is from one of my clients. So she posted this in our iHeart coaching group the other day. So she said she just wanted to share a quick story. I shared a longer form post in a paid group I'm a part of. Within 10 minutes, I had one person send me a message to my business page asking me about my course. The post was all value driven. Don't underestimate the power of Facebook groups. When I first started my business and I had a much smaller marketing budget, I would post in groups all the time. That's how I got my business to my first 6 figures. And that's how I kept it there. And it's still a part of how I grow. And I project the business is going to double again. So don't be afraid to drop some valuable bombs in groups. It doesn't take long. Block the time on your calendar. You can share the same post in more than one group. Heck, you can probably repurpose it in a newsletter with a few tweaks. Happy sharing, Jamie. So I just wanted to share that because, again, I think we make this so complicated. So you have an important message to share and you need to get it out there. So whether it's Facebook Live or sending emails, I don't really care. Posting in groups, that's so powerful for people. Think about going through different Facebook groups, seeing who needs your message, and then commenting on their questions. Maybe you even do a mini video for them and give them extra value, So how can you show up? How can you be useful? How can you share value? How can you share your message? How can you support people? And I think one of the things that we are so focused on in the beginning, of course, is money coming in. And I'm glad that you're focused on that. One of my favorite topics in the world is money mindset. And at the same time, we have to recognize that the more value we give, the more clients we will receive, right? So there's a universal law that I love, and it talks about how it's called the law of income. It talks about how the more people you serve, the more money you will have coming into your life and your business. So think about how you can give value to more and more people, right? So that needs to be your mission every single day. All right, next step here is to expect clients. This is the final step. So when you're putting your program out there and you're sharing your message with the world, are you expecting people to sign up? Or are you a total Debbie Downer thinking no one's going to sign up? You're never going to move forward with your dreams. People aren't going to get it. You don't have enough value. You're not enough of an expert. You don't have qualifications. Whatever the phrases are that are going through your mind, really pay attention to what it is that you're thinking and ask yourself, is this actually serving me? Is this actually leading me closer, getting me closer to the big vision? Is this getting closer to my dreams or to my goals? And most of the time it's not. Most of the time our thoughts are on repeat over and over and over. It's the same stuff we've been thinking time and time again. It doesn't serve us. It's like an ancient operating system. We talked about this on yesterday's training as well. And you need to pay attention to what you are allowing to consume your mind. So your thoughts need to be positive in order to attract the clients that you want. And if you've never heard that before, I know that I felt the same way. When I was living in London, I was super depressed. I didn't have any friends, didn't know what I was doing with my life. And I ended up hiring a coach. And she told me that I had power over my thoughts. And I didn't know what she was talking about. I had no idea that that was the case. And I also had no idea that I had the power to transform my thoughts or to think differently. I thought it was just something I couldn't control. And the truth is, most of the time our first reaction, it might not be something we can control, but we can control what happens next. And we can retrain ourselves to believe and to think positively, even if we haven't been programmed in that way. It's like creating that new operating system. So I want to encourage you to do that. I want you to write down who your ideal client is. Who is your most ideal client, the person you want to attract? How many people do you want to attract? How do you want to do that? How do you want to work with them? How do you want to serve them? What results do you want to give them? And really set that intention. And that's what you focus on, even in those periods where you experience 54 no's in a row like I did. Right? And one of the things that I want to point out, this is coming up on the webinar on Thursday. I went back into the archives and found some of the old programs that I created when I was first starting out. So I'm going to show you a glimpse of them on Thursday, which will be really fun. But I wanted to point out that, oftentimes in the beginning, it feels like you are just trying a bunch of different things. And it feels like, is anything actually going to stick? You're like throwing spaghetti against the wall. And you have to have something to focus on in order to continue to move forward. So remember what your mission is. Remember what that thing is that you want to talk about on Oprah's stage, and allow that to propel you forward. Allow that to really be the motivation that you need if it feels like things aren't working or people aren't coming through the door fast enough. So I really want to encourage you to remember that. And that really starts with your thoughts and your attitude and your beliefs. Cool. So those are the steps that I have for you today. I think that was 7, hopefully. That's everything I have written down. I'd love to take your questions here. I see a few. So I see Paige. She said, narrowing my ideal client to busy moms of little ones. I'm an organizer. It was so helpful when I started hearing and watching you last year, Emily. I'm a busy mom of littles and know that what they need and desire. Now I book one-on-one clients regularly and will still occasionally book other clients who don't have kids, but still need my help. Thank you. Oh, amazing. Love it. Paige said, so smart. Going to send that email. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Paige. How incredible that things have moved forward with you in that way. That's awesome. It sounds like you're doing amazing work in the world. Love it. Who else here? Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Someone said that the live was interrupted. So hopefully we're good. So I was just reading out Paige's comment about how things have really moved forward with her and her business. And she's going to send out the email that I recommended people send out. Awesome. So who else has questions? So I can see your comments on the side. Okay. There were a few that were submitted as well, so I'll go ahead and put them in here. Biggie said, just started your mini course about the ideal client. Awesome. A friend recommended that I should also describe the opposite, a client you wouldn't want. What are your thoughts? Oh, I love that. Yeah, exactly. The thing that you do not desire. But I wouldn't spend too much time focusing on it. And I don't want to get too much into mindset and thought habits, but our mind doesn't really know the difference between what we want and what we don't want. All it knows is that we're focusing on something. So don't focus too much on what you don't want, but it's great to have clarity. And for some people, it's actually really helpful to write the list of the things that you don't want in an ideal client if you're trying to get clarity around what you do want. So that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the tech help as well. Okay, so someone wrote in and said, how do I know if someone is a good fit for me as a client? Okay, this is a great question. So a lot of what I want you to pay attention to is intuition based. And in the beginning, it might be a little bit different because you might be exploring and figuring out who is your ideal client. It's kind of like dating. So when you're a teenager, you probably had some looser parameters around who you dated, right? And then as you move forward, you got a bit more strict about the type of person that you went out with. And of course, when you chose that person to marry, it was even more, strict, and you had a better idea of what it was that you were looking for. So in the beginning of your business, it might feel like you're experimenting a little bit. Someone might come your way. They might be a little bit outside of your wheelhouse, but you feel like it's worth your time to work with them. Just like for me. So I started marketing to women in their having a quarter life crisis, and I was more of a life coach. And then I saw that there were entrepreneurs coming my way. And I thought that's interesting. And so I just took it as a sign and explored and figured out whether I liked working with that type of person or not. And I did. So I continued to move forward. So I would be a little bit more open in the beginning, but also pay attention to your intuition. So is your intuition telling you that this would be an exciting person to work with? Or is this your intuition telling you like run in the other direction? Because most of the time with crazy, or maybe I should use a better word, with difficult, with challenging clients, there is a red flag in the beginning, but we choose to ignore it for whatever reason. So definitely trust your intuition. But if you were that step or 2 or even 5 ahead of the ideal client, then you can help them. And a lot of people find that confusing. They worry that they're not far enough along. But the truth is, even when I started my business and I started working with entrepreneurs, I wasn't that much further ahead than the people I was working with, but they were in their 9-to-5 job. They didn't even really, how to entertain the idea that they could be an entrepreneur. They didn't know how to set up a website. They didn't know how to figure out who to work with. They didn't know how to create a program. They didn't know how to leave their 9-to-5 job. And so I could support them. That's the best way to figure out if you are able to work with someone. All right, next question. How can I help someone if I haven't created my own success story yet? Okay, so I kind of just answered that. So you don't need to have, like the massive 6-figure years and lights on your website to be able to help someone. Please understand that. Start with where you're at. We all start at the beginning. I didn't have the story that I had in the beginning. I just had to believe in myself and believe in my message and also believe that I was meant to do this work. And so a big part of what I teach is that our desires are dropped in. They're real. They're meant for us. And so if you feel called to do this work, that's really all you need to know. And so trust that your clients will show up. Trust that you're capable. As women, we wait until we're perfect. We wait until everything's lined up. And I beg you, please don't wait any longer. If you have a gift and if you have a message, please move forward. And so you don't need to have this massive success story. Of course, you need to have gone through something and know how to get to the other side so you can help your client. But please know we all start at the beginning. So, hey, Amanda. Thanks for all the hearts, guys. So Paige says, I still struggle a bit when it's time to say what I should charge. But after you're doing your Scared to Rich course, I keep reminding myself that it's a me thing. I've got to confidently say what I charge every time. They happily pay it and then book me again for additional help. I couldn't have done that without your course. Oh, goodness. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Paige. That really means the world to me because that's why I do this work. And for anyone who doesn't know what she's talking about, if you become a member on our website, it's completely complimentary. You go to iheartmylife.com and click become a member in the top right-hand corner. Then you get access to some free resources. So one of them is the Scared to Rich training. Another one is the Ideal Client mini course. And I think we have something else, maybe like a New Year's module or something. And that reminds me, so definitely go and sign up for that and also go to realtruthwithlove.com, one or the other, and get on the list so that you're the first to hear about our amazing new offer on Thursday and receive $400 off, and make sure that you're on the list so you can get updates for the next few days of trainings that I'm doing, including the masterclass about replacing your 9-to-5 income with coaching. And there's also a special bonus opportunity on that masterclass when you're on live. It's at the same time as this training, so you're going to want to be there. Cool. Jackie, that baby is keeping you busy, Jackie. We'll have the replay up. Don't worry. I think you were on yesterday, or maybe I'm forgetting. There was someone else who had a baby who was hungry as well. So definitely watch the replay. All right, guys. I think that's all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. It's so much fun. So Green Juice and Cocktails. Thank you to Sweaty Betty for the amazing t-shirt. Well, they didn't give it to me. I mean, I'd love to be a partner with them, but just putting that out there. I did buy it myself. If anyone wants it, I think it's still on the website. Anyway, so now I'm promoting clothes on these Facebook Lives. Sending lots of love to all you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's training is how I'm not a unicorn. So you can see my team member here, Ashley, on this Facebook Live. She recently joined the company and she told me that there are people out there who think that I'm a unicorn because I went to 6 figures in my business in my first 6 months and then hit 7 figures in my first 18 months. But believe me, not a unicorn. There are steps that I've taken to get to that point. So I'm going to share all of that tomorrow with you. So it will be a fun one. Tune in at the same place, same time tomorrow. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye. Thanks, guys.